Hi home cooks! Today I'm in the kitchen making strawberry cream profiteroles. Delicate choux pastry with a perfectly flavored sweet strawberry filling. Whether you call them cream puffs or profiteroles, these little bite-sized treats are perfect for any occasion. These little pastry puffs are a fan favorite of kids and adults alike. These bite-sized choux pastry puffs are each filled with silky strawberry cream. Dip the top in a little bit of melted chocolate and finish with a flourish of pink sprinkles for a fun dessert that feels both elegant and indulgent. So let's get into the kitchen. This is how I make strawberry cream profiteroles. I'm going to start this recipe by making an easy homemade choux pastry. In a medium sauce pot over medium-high heat, add 3/4 cup of milk, 3/4 cup of water, 2/3 cup of butter, a tablespoon of sugar, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to stir and melt this together until the mixture comes to a simmer. Then reduce the heat to medium-low and add in 1 2/3 cup of all-purpose flour. Stir this together until all the flour is incorporated and you have a smooth, soft dough ball that cleans the sides of the pot. Now I'm going to move this to the bowl of my stand mixer, and with the paddle attachment, mix the dough until it's cooled enough that you can add the eggs. You can also do this in a bowl with beaters. Now with the mixture still going, I'm going to add in 5 eggs. Add them in one at a time and beat well after each addition. I'm also going to make sure to scrape down the bottom and sides of the bowl a few times as I go, just to make sure everything is getting mixed in evenly. Now that I have a smooth, thick dough, it's time to move this to a piping bag. I have a pretty large piping bag here with a large circular tip. If you don't have this at home, that's no problem. You can also use a large freezer bag and cut a small hole in one corner. Now onto a lined baking sheet, I'm going to pipe all the little profiteroles. Squeeze out about a tablespoon's worth of dough onto the lined baking sheet. I'm going to leave about 1 inch worth of space between each one. This is going to allow them some space as they puff up and bake in the oven. And now, since these look like little dough Hershey's Kisses instead of little round profiteroles, I'm just going to dip my finger in a glass of water and smooth down any points at the top of the dough. And this is ready to go into my preheated 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius oven. I'm going to bake the profiteroles for 10 minutes at this high temperature to give them a big burst of heat, which will help them puff up. Then after the 10 minutes, reduce the temperature to 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 190 degrees Celsius and continue to bake for another 15 minutes or until the profiteroles are golden brown and feel very light and airy. If they still feel a little doughy and heavy, the pastry will collapse as it cools. And in that case, just pop them right back into the oven for another few minutes. Then you can remove them from the oven and set them aside to cool completely before filling. Now for my rich and vibrant strawberry cream filling, I'm going to add 2 cups of washed and cut fresh strawberries or frozen strawberries to a medium sauce pot over medium heat. Mash and cook the fruit for about 3 to 5 minutes or until it's very soft. Then I'm going to add in 1/4 cup of white sugar. Stir and cook this down until you have a thickened strawberry mixture. As the fruit juices cook down and reduce, it's going to give you a more intense strawberry flavor to add to the cream. And finally, to give me a silky smooth strawberry puree, I'm going to use my handheld stick blender. But you could also use a food processor for this, or just a handheld masher. Finally, I'm going to mix in a 1/2 teaspoon of lemon juice. I'm going to set this aside to cool while I get on with making the cream. In a large bowl, beat together 1 cup of heavy cream until it's soft and thickened. Add in 1/4 cup of powdered sugar and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm going to beat this mixture again until it's thick and holds a stiff peak. And again, make sure to scrape down the bottom and sides of the bowl to make sure everything is mixed in evenly. Finally, I'm going to beat in the cooled strawberry puree. Beat this together until you have a thick strawberry cream. I'm going to transfer this to a piping bag with a small hole at the tip. Poke this through a cooled profiterole You should be able to see a weak spot somewhere in the pastry. If not, you can use a little skewer to make a hole. Then pipe in the filling until the pastry feels noticeably heavier in your hand. And then you'll know that your little pastry is full. After all the pastries are filled, they're ready to serve just as they are. Or you can add a little decorative flourish to each one. I'm dipping each of mine in a little melted white chocolate here. But these strawberry profiteroles would also go perfectly with melted dark chocolate dipped in caramel or with just a dusting of icing sugar on top. And if you're like me and you want to add a little extra decorations or sprinkles to yours, make sure to sprinkle this on top of the melted chocolate before it starts to set. And these little handheld desserts are ready to serve right away. If you're making this dessert in advance, make sure to store your filled profiteroles in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 3 days. These are perfect served just like this, but you could also stack them into a dramatic croquembouche for a truly show-stopping dessert centerpiece. They're perfect for holidays, dinner parties, or any special occasion. And as always, you can find a link to the full written recipe in the description box below. Enjoy! If you're a fan of deliciously simple vintage recipes and old-fashioned skills, then you'll want to check out this next video. Thanks for stopping by.